And welcome to Writer Groupie. My guest tonight is Kim Huther, and she is a proofreader, copy editor. And I am just dying to get into a conversation with you because I want to know more about what it is that you do.
All right. Thank you so much for asking me to join you this evening, Kim. I'm very, very excited about doing this with you. As a proofreader and a copy editor, my job is to take the raw data, so to speak, of from the writer's imagination that he or she has already put down in book form, as a manuscript, and really just hammer out the flaws and polish it up and just make it gorgeous. I get rid of all the grammatical mistakes and the punctuation and the spelling and just make it as fabulous as possible. I mean, I don't change what the writer has done. I just make it it's like putting its best face forward. I make it into this gorgeous piece of work.
You make it publishable.
Yes, I do. The foundation has been already set. I just pretty it up.
And how long have you been doing this?
I have been doing this for almost 7 years, 6.5 years.
You've probably seen a lot of manuscripts in your time.
I have. Yes, I have. And it's cool. I get to read, for a living. This is neat. This is my dream job right here.
Hey, I hadn't thought about it that way. So what is your favorite thing to read since you're doing the editing on it? I mean, have you done a little bit of every kind of type of genre?
I really have. I haven't done any horror, and that's fine with me because that kind of stuff I don't need that. I don't need that scary stuff in my life. Life is scary enough. I don't need to read about it too. I've done paranormal. I've done a little erotica, which is not my favorite, but it pays the bills. I really love romance. The clean indie type stuff, where it's a very specific formula, really, boy meets girl kind of thing.
Yeah.
Most of my clients are part of the Christian genre, so I get a lot of really lovely, sweet stories that are just so hopeful and wonderful, and I love spiritual warfare.
Neat.
Plots too.
I'm just about finished with my second Patricia Bradley book. She writes Christian romantic suspense, and lovely lady. First of all, love you, Patricia. Want you on the show. But writes fantastic romantic suspense with a Christian bent, and I'm telling you, I've enjoyed both of her books and can't wait for the next one to come out. That's great that you get to read even the Christian fiction novels that are coming through the door, because that's different. It's a whole different world.
It really is, and it's so much fun to read those. It's great. Like I said, I love being able to read for a living. That is just my dream job. It's fabulous.
I'm thinking from a writer's perspective. Now, as a writer, our mindset is on eking out the story, paragraph by paragraph. And sometimes we're so involved in the forest that we can't see the trees. So I can imagine, first of all, that an editor might be interested in being a writer because you see so much of the written word, it's got to be appealing to you. On the other hand, as a writer, I don't see myself ever wanting to be a copy editor. I just don't think that I could put on and take off the hat like that.
Right. I have no talent for writing. I'm going to leave that to all of you brilliant, creative people who can come up with these incredible plots and characters and carry on a plot line for 300 pages. That is so not my thing. I'm so much better at taking somebody else's work and fixing it up.
Transforming it.
Exactly.
Your job is exciting, though, Kim. I mean, when I think about it, I would love to be able to do something with the written word, as a job. I mean, to me, writing is not a job. I mean, I know it is, but to me, it's a creative expression more than anything else. But, I want to hear about your side of it. Why? What in the world made you want to do this?
Oh, my heavens. Well, I went to college and got a BA in English and really didn't know what I was going to do with it. Actually, I started out as a genetics major. Oh, that was a hot mess. I was not.
Man, what a stretch!
I know, right? It's crazy. I wanted to work in newspapers and magazines and things. I knew I wanted to be on the editing side, but coming out of college, having no experience, nobody was willing to hire me. It's that catch-22, where you can't get hired without experience, but you can't get experience without being hired.
Hate that.
Oh, it's awful. It's awful. So I did a lot of temp work as administrative assistant. I did a stretch as a land surveyor's assistant. That was crazy. that was hot and sweaty and messy, yucky work. Mosquito bites, awful.
Oh wow.
Sunburn, not a whole lot of fun. And as a redhead, that's not the perfect job being out in the sun all the time.
You're too fair for that.
Oh my heavens! Talk about sunscreen. So in 2008, I decided to start my own business. I followed in my father's footsteps. He started his own business in 1984. He started his own chimney sweeping business.
My brother did that for a while. Fun thing.
Very cool. That is neat. It's neat having my dad be a chimney sweep. So I decided to start my own proofreading service. And I went down to the county clerk's office and got my DBA, the doing business as, and since then I have been Wordsmith Proofreading Services. So, and I cold called every ad agency in the Yellow Pages, which is no
big no.
No. And I got 6 clients out of that. So,
well, how cool is that?
It was astounding. Yeah, it was awesome. And then a couple years ago, well, actually, really just last year, I decided to sort of cold call authors on Facebook. And I have 12 authors under my belt who are all like, oh, yeah, I want, absolutely, I'm going to, send you my stuff. And they keep sending me books, and I am happy as a clam.
That is wonderful. We kind of met that way, too. I mean, we've been Facebook friends, but you just kind of popped me a message and said, hey, I'd love to work with you. And I got to talking to you, and I said, wow, right now I'm kind of in a process where I don't need a copy editor, but I would love to have you on the show. What a great opportunity. And it was really funny because I was sitting at work, and I'm like, text. Looking around, being subversive. Hope my boss doesn't watch this.
Oh,
but anyway, it is funny how amazingly close-knit our community is now because of Facebook and Twitter and other social media sites. And I probably never would have met you had it not happened that way. So I'm very happy to have met you. And I love the fact that you came on the show. We just did it like that.
I'm absolutely tickled to be on here with you.
Well, and I'm so glad because I'm getting to learn some things about copy edits and proofreading that I didn't know. And I hope I can send you some business because you guys, if you're not paying attention, please pay attention to this. You must have a book that is well written in today's market. You're not going to sell it. Nobody wants to buy a crappy written book. It's got to be edited. Kim can help you. Now, Kim, absolutely. Tell us what your ideal client is. What are you looking for in a client?
I am looking for someone who definitely has a grasp of the English language. I mean, you have got to know what you're doing as far as grammar and punctuation are concerned. Spelling is, I mean, definitely you need to know how to spell, but nobody is a perfect speller. So, and unfortunately, spell check is not going to help you with everything. That's why you definitely need a proofreader or a copy editor. If not me, then you
please find somebody.
Yeah, please find a proofreader or a copy editor to help you polish your work. It's absolutely essential that you have somebody who knows what they're doing look at it. Really, it's pretty simple. It's pretty basic. Just please have a grasp of the English language and know how to form a sentence that makes sense.
Right. Well, let me ask you this: is there a difference between proofreading and copy editing? And if there is, what's that difference?
There is a difference. A proofreader will only focus on spelling, grammar, punctuation, and syntax. A copy editor will really, he or she will do all that as well, but they will also go deeper into the flow of the story,
pacing, maybe, that kind of thing.
Pacing, absolutely. Make sure that there are no inconsistencies, like you don't change the name of the character mid-paragraph kind of thing, that there's nothing like that, that any, historical references are accurate. Just things like that.
Ooh, you go into some kind of depth then. I am so thankful that you do what you do and I don't have to.
I'm thankful that you do what you do, so I don't have to, because I am not a writer.
Well,
I
listen,
have a creative bone in my body.
I have another question. If a client were to come to you and they had, maybe a novel or a novelette, and it was the best that they could make it, but maybe it's not perfect, is that still a potential client of yours? Do they have to have it pretty well perfect and you just do the final kind of stuff? How does that work?
Really, I should be the last person to look at it. I definitely recommend using beta readers. Pretty much all of my clients have beta readers, and they're essential, really, in helping the writer. With I don't know. Don't know what I'm trying to say. Just making it more cohesive.
In other words, a writer doesn't need to throw you their first draft. They need to first draft it, second draft it, third draft it, send it through beta readers, get it as perfect as they can possibly make it, and then you're like the final authority who gets it published ready.
Absolutely. Yes, that's exactly it. Thank you.
You're welcome. I mean, I'm trying to understand, because, like I've said, I really don't know that much about what proofreader or copy editor does. So I'm learning as I go along in our interview, and this is really fascinating to me, because I kind of had the feeling that a lot of authors think that a proofreader copy editor is like their first reader. So it's like, okay, first draft, maybe second draft. I got the kinks in the story worked out. Now let me send it to the copy editor, proofer person, and let them fix it for me. And I have a feeling a lot of people think that.
Yeah. I don't want to see it when with your first mishmash of ideas, and it's not cohesive and it's not in the order you want it in. I definitely want to see it at the very last person to see it before you send it off to your publisher or whoever.
Right. Final stage editing. That's what you do.
Yes, that is what I do.
You can steal that. You can put that on your website. Kim Smith says, final stage editing.
Thank you, Kim.
Listen, I just cannot stress enough to people how valuable what you do is. Because especially in our market today, where the indie publisher, indie author, has got to stand up a head and shoulders above their competition to even be noticed anymore. The competition is that intense out there in book market land. And so it's vital that they do the best that they can, yes, but don't scrimp when it comes to your editor. You got to have one. You want that final polish. You want it to be so wonderful when your reader picks it up and reads it that they go looking for the next one. That's the most important thing, is to get you to the stage where they finish a book and they're ready for the next one. And the only way you can do that is with excellent, excellent editing. And so, Kim, we just love what you do. We appreciate you in the writer world so much. Is there anything you want to let potential clients know about your specific business?
I don't know what sets me apart from all the other proofreaders out there. I have a very fast turnaround time, so that's good. All of my clients have been happy with my work, so that's another awesome thing. And when your book does get put on Amazon or whatever, I always take the time to post a review, because I've read the book, obviously. So,
awesome.
And I always post a good review for my clients whose books get up there on the Amazon list.
That's a wonderful, wonderful thing, because I'm telling you, getting reviews is difficult, but it carries a little bit more weight when it comes from someone such as yourself in the business world, who's had, firsthand knowledge of this book and in its process. So that's wonderful. That's tremendous. I didn't even think about our team, as we call them now, our cover artists and our editors and, all the other people that are part of our lives now as indie authors, having a role as a reviewer as well. What a great thing. I really like that.
I like to do that for the hard-working writers that I am so blessed to get to deal with. I definitely, I love to be able to put a review up there for them. It's my, I guess it's my way of saying thank you, for letting me read their amazing piece of creativity.
That's wonderful. Well, is there anything that we need to know about the book world? Is there anything special that we need to know before we contact a proofer or a copy editor? Like, what stage of the publishing process is the book? I mean, I think we've already said it needs to be right there. It needs to be ready to go insofar as the editing on it. You're the final polish. When you finish with it, it's ready to be published, right?
As far as I know, I mean, definitely the writer does need to go back, go through and make the changes he or she wants to. Proofreading is pretty much a suggestion. Unfortunately, some people don't take my suggestions and keep it the way they want it, even if it's not correct, because they don't like the suggestion or whatever. I just I do my best to make it just look just so great, and so there are no errors and things.
But you don't do any formatting or anything like that. What your basic job is to just do the text, make sure that the text is correct. But it's not necessarily the formatting of the book, getting it ready for publication or anything like that.
That's correct. I do not do formatting. You definitely need to have it formatted. I do the Word documents, or the PDFs. I don't do the formatting. That's somebody else's job.
I gotcha. That's one more thing you got to remember, guys. You got to have a formatter if you don't know how to do it yourself. DIY does not always work.
That is true.
Okay, Kim, so tell all the viewers where they can find you online and kind of give us an overview of what they need to send you when they need to hire you.
Okay, my website is wordsmithproofreading.com, and it's wordsmith like a blacksmith. Wordsmithproofreading.com. You really just you need to send me your manuscript as either a Word document or a PDF file. I prefer Word documents because the track changes editing tool is fabulous. It puts the change right up there, and you can see it, and you can accept it or reject the change. So I really prefer Word documents. Definitely contact me. You can contact me through my website. And with your phone number or email address, and I will get back to you right away to discuss your project with you and how soon you would like it back and whatnot. So that's how you
if a writer is on a deadline, say we'll just throw February 28th out there, they had a deadline to have their book out by February 28th. You know, is there any specific timeline that you need to have the manuscript? Like, do you require, 4 weeks advance or anything like that?
I would definitely need it by like the 14th, so that I had 2 full weeks to do it. Earlier would be better, but by the 14th at the latest.
Do you have any kind of a waiting list right now?
I do not at this time. I'm pretty open right now. I am doing a project that's due on the 13th of February, so get me by the 14th, I'm all yours.
Okay.
But I definitely have room for more clients, and I would be happy to talk with anyone who's interested in my services.
Kim, it has been fabulous having you on tonight. I'm so excited, and I thank you so much for taking your time. I know you're a busy lady, to chat with me on Writer Groupie for the millions of thousands of hundreds of 1 or 2 writers out there that might watch. And I would love for you to come back on, if you have something that just is, earth-shattering in the copy editing world that you think people might be interested in knowing, just let me know. We'll do another show.
Absolutely. This has been so much fun. Thank you so much for having me.
You are so welcome. And I want you to come back when you get ready, okay?
Absolutely.